Rain tapped gently on the roof of the black luxury sedan as Malcolm Reed sat in the back seat, staring out the window. His driver waited quietly at the wheel, parked along a quiet street in a small town Malcolm didn't even know the name of. Welcome to Nne'folktales, where we share with you an heartfelt stories that will reshape our mindset. Please like and subscribe to my channel for more contents like this. He was just passing through on his way to a business meeting, another real estate deal, another city skyline to reshape. But something about the charm of the town caught his attention. "Pull over," Malcolm had said suddenly. His voice was calm, but his tone was not the one he used in meetings. The driver obeyed, pulling up near a small library with old brick walls and a wooden bench outside. Malcolm didn't know why he had stopped. He wasn't a man who followed instincts, but something inside tugged at him. As he watched through the tinted window, the front door of the library opened, and two little girls came running out. They wore bright yellow raincoats and matching red boots, their hair tied into bouncy ponytails. They laughed as they jumped into puddles, their voices cutting through the gray drizzle like sunlight slicing through clouds. Malcolm's breath caught. His eyes widened. There was something about their faces. The sharp cheekbones, the wide hazel eyes, the same dimple when they smiled it couldn't be. He blinked hard, leaned forward. His heart began to race, pounding like it hadn't in years. They looked exactly like her. Tessa Morgan, the girl he had loved when he was just a teenager. He hadn't seen Tessa in over 20 years. His father moved them away when Malcolm was 16, chasing business dreams across the country. Tessa had stayed behind. She was his first love, maybe his only real one. He never forgot her. And now here were two little girls with her face, dancing in the rain as if fate had spun the clock backwards. Malcolm pushed the door open and stepped out, forgetting the umbrella beside him. The rain soaked his shoulders instantly, but he didn't care. His eyes stayed on the girls as they skipped down the sidewalk, their boots splashing in puddles. They giggled, twirled, then ran toward a modest little cafe across the street. He followed, his heart pounding, unsure what he'd even say. The door to the cafe opened. A woman stepped out, holding a hand towel and smiling gently at the girls. She bent down, brushing water off their cheeks. Her hair was longer now, darker, and her skin was paler, but her eyes, those eyes, still held the same softness. "Come on inside, my darling," she said. Malcolm froze. It was her, Tessa. She hadn't seen him yet. She turned to go inside, and something in her step made him pause. She moved slower than he remembered, like she was tired or in pain. He stepped forward quickly. "Tessa," he said softly. She turned. For a second, confusion crossed her face. Then her eyes widened. Her lips parted. "Malcolm," she whispered. He nodded. For a moment, silence hung in the air between them. The girls were inside now, wiping their boots. Malcolm searched her face, trying to read it. Was she angry? Shocked? Hurt? "You live here?" he asked quietly. Tessa gave a small nod. "Yeah, for a while now. It's a good town. Quiet." Her voice trembled slightly. "I saw the girls," Malcolm said. "Yesterday. They look like—" he paused, then added, "they look just like you." Tessa's jaw tightened. She glanced toward the cafe window. "A lot of people say that," she replied quickly. "But they don't know," Malcolm said. "Do they?" Her eyes flickered. "They know I love them. That's enough." Then one of the girls peeked out. "Mommy, come in. It's pancake day." Tessa gave Malcolm a small smile, a pained one. "I have to go. Take care, Malcolm." And just like that, she turned and disappeared into the warmth of the cafe. Malcolm stood there in the drizzle, soaked and stunned. His heart felt heavier than before. He knew she was hiding something, and he wasn't leaving until he found out what it was. The next morning, Malcolm came back. He sat at a corner table near the window and ordered coffee he didn't really want. He watched the door. At 8:03 a.m., Tessa arrived with the girls, one on each hand. They skipped ahead into the cafe. She lingered by the door, breathing heavily before going in. He noticed the tired slump of her shoulders. The second morning, he returned again. This time he nodded at the waitress, who was beginning to recognize him. The girls laughed as they colored at a back table. Tessa served coffee, then vanished into the kitchen. On the third morning, he brought coloring books for the twins. They squealed with delight. "Thank you, mister," they chirped. "Call me Mel," he said. Tessa approached him at last. "You're not just here for coffee," she said quietly. Her voice was gentle but guarded. Malcolm met her eyes. "No, I want to know why you never told me." She sighed, sliding into the seat across from him. "Because I didn't know how," she said, "and I wasn't sure if I should." "I left," Malcolm said, "but I didn't mean to leave you. I didn't even get a choice." "I know," she whispered, "but you didn't come back either." He leaned forward. "Are they mine?" Her eyes brimmed with tears. She hesitated, then gave a small nod. "Yes, hope and faith. They're yours." The truth hit Malcolm hard. He sat back, stunned. "I missed everything," he whispered. "Their first words, first birthdays, all gone." Tessa wiped her eyes. "I wanted to tell you, but by the time I found out I was pregnant, you were gone. You were already building a life. I saw your name in magazines. You didn't need 2 babies and a small-town girl." "That wasn't your decision to make," Malcolm said, his voice tight. Tessa looked down. "Maybe not, but it felt like the only one I had. I was scared and alone." Malcolm noticed her hand trembling. "Are you all right?" he asked. Her smile was weak. "No, I'm sick, Malcolm. The doctors say it's late." His chest tightened. "Late," he echoed. "Lymphoma," she said softly. "Stage 4. It's aggressive." Malcolm swallowed hard. "What are the doctors doing?" "They wanted to try treatment," she answered, "but I'm already so tired. I just want time with them, not tubes and hospital rooms." Her voice cracked. "They deserve memories, not machines." Malcolm reached across the table and touched her hand. "You won't go through this alone. I'm here now." Tessa looked away. "It's not just about being here. It's about what comes after." He squeezed her hand gently. "Then tell me what you need." She looked at him, truly looked. "They'll need you, Malcolm. When I'm gone. Not as a visitor. As their father." In the days that followed, Malcolm returned daily. He helped walk the girls to school. He stayed for dinner. He told stories at bedtime. Slowly they warmed to him. One night, as they sat on the porch, Tessa whispered, "They don't know you're their father." I didn't want them to hope for something that might disappear. He replied softly, "I'm not going anywhere." "You promise?" she asked. Her voice was barely audible. "Yes," Malcolm said, "but they deserve to know the truth. They'll wonder soon. They already ask why you smile differently when I'm around." Tessa laughed weakly. "They're smart. Too smart." She leaned against him. "Tell them when the time feels right. Not before." That night, Malcolm tucked the girls into bed. "Will you be here tomorrow?" Hope asked. "And the next day?" added Faith. Malcolm smiled. "I'll be here every day, sweethearts." Outside their room, Tessa listened from the hall, a tear slipping down her cheek. She knew her time was fading, but maybe, just maybe, she could leave them with a father's love strong enough to last a lifetime. Malcolm spent more time in that small town than he'd ever planned. He put meetings on hold. His assistant was confused. "Mr. Reed, the investors," she began on one call. "They can wait," he replied flatly, ending the conversation. Each morning, he walked the girls to school with Tessa. Each evening, he helped fold laundry or wash dishes. It was a quiet life, and he found himself craving it. Tessa's strength faded with each passing week. She still smiled, still worked a few hours at the cafe when she could, but Malcolm noticed her needing to sit more often, her hand shaking when she poured coffee. "You need rest," he told her one afternoon. She chuckled faintly. "I need time, Malcolm. Just time with them. That's all I want now. One evening, after the girls had fallen asleep with stuffed animals tucked under their arms, Malcolm and Tessa sat on the back porch. The air was cool, the sky a deep navy blue. Crickets chirped softly in the grass. "Why didn't you ever tell them I was their father?" he asked. "Because I didn't know if you'd want to be," Tessa whispered. Malcolm turned to her, his voice firm. "I would have come, no matter what I was doing. I would have come for you, for them." She nodded slowly. "Maybe, but I couldn't risk it. They're everything to me. I didn't want them hurt by someone who might walk away again." Malcolm swallowed. "I'm not walking away. Not this time. I'm here." Tessa looked at him, her eyes shining in the moonlight. "Then promise me something," she said. "Don't love them because you feel guilty. Love them because you see the best parts of yourself in them, and of me." Malcolm reached over and took her frail hand. "I do, Tess. I already do." As the days turned into weeks, the truth of Tessa's condition became clearer. She grew weaker. Her steps slowed. The girls sensed it, though they didn't understand. They drew pictures with hearts and angels. One day, Faith gave her a drawing of their little family. "Look, Mommy," she said. "It's you and me and Hope and Mr. Mal. We're all holding hands." Tessa held the drawing to her chest. She didn't speak. Malcolm knelt beside her, his hand resting on her shoulder. That night he stayed until the girls were asleep, then helped Tessa into bed. "I'm scared," she whispered. "Not for me. For them. Will you tell them the truth when it's time?" Malcolm nodded. "I promise. I'll tell them everything. And I'll never leave." The night Tessa passed, the world was quiet. No rain. No wind. Just stillness. Malcolm sat beside her, her hand in his, her breath soft and slow. She turned her head toward him, eyes full of love and sorrow. "Don't let them forget me," she whispered. "They won't," Malcolm said, his voice breaking. "You're in them, Tess. Always." She smiled one last time. "That's good," she breathed. Then her chest rose and fell and didn't rise again. Malcolm sat there, still holding her hand. He didn't cry at first. He just sat with the silence, the weight of goodbye sinking into his bones. The woman he had loved his whole life was gone. The funeral was quiet. Local faces filled the small chapel. Flowers lined the altar. Hope and Faith stood beside Malcolm in black dresses, each holding one of his hands. He wore the same black suit he had once used for corporate deals. Now it was for something that truly mattered. The girls didn't ask why people cried. They just held on tighter. After the service, Malcolm took the girls home. Their drawings still hung on the wall. Tessa's photo stayed above the fireplace. That night he sat between them and said gently, "I have something important to tell you." They looked up. "I'm not just Mr. Mal. I'm your dad." Hope blinked. Faith whispered, "Really?" He smiled, tears in his eyes. "Really, and I'll never let you go." The girls sat very still. For a long moment, neither spoke. Hope glanced at Faith, her brow furrowed. "Why didn't Mommy tell us?" she asked softly. Malcolm took a deep breath. "She wanted to wait until the right time. She was scared you might get hurt. But she always wanted what was best for you." Faith leaned into his side. "Did she love you?" Malcolm smiled through tears. "Yes, she did. And I've always loved her. I just didn't come back in time." Hope whispered, "So you're not leaving?" "Never," Malcolm said firmly. "I'm staying. Forever. We're a family now." The girls threw their arms around him. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't how it was supposed to begin. But in that moment, it felt real. Malcolm held them tightly, feeling the weight of both sorrow and grace pressing into his chest. In the weeks after the funeral, Malcolm made a decision. He didn't want to go back to glass towers and endless flights. He sold off parts of his company, kept only what was necessary, and bought a home in the same town where Tessa had raised the girls. "You sure about this?" his business partner asked on a call. I'm sure, Malcolm said. I've made millions. Now I want to make memories. He enrolled Hope and Faith in a good local school. Every morning, he packed their lunches, helped them with ponytails, and walked them to class. The cafe where Tessa had worked became part of their routine. On Saturdays, he took them there for pancakes. They always sat at the same booth where she used to pour coffee and smile at strangers. Her photo hung on the living room wall above the fireplace, Tessa in a summer dress, arms around the twins when they were just toddlers. Around the frame were crayon drawings, cut out hearts, and pressed wildflowers. Each night before bed, Malcolm told the girls a story about their mom. How she loved strawberry ice cream, how she danced barefoot in the kitchen, how she read bedtime stories even when she was too tired to stand. Some nights the girls cried. Faith had nightmares. Hope asked why Mommy didn't get better. Malcolm never had easy answers, but he always gave honest ones. She was very sick, he'd say gently, but she stayed as long as she could because she loved you more than anything in the world. One night, Hope looked up at him and said, I'm glad we have you now. Life slowly began to settle. It didn't stop hurting, but the hurt didn't control every moment anymore. The house filled with new laughter, school projects, and the chaos of growing children. Malcolm found himself learning how to braid hair, how to sew buttons back onto uniforms, and how to answer questions about everything from math homework to why the moon changes shape. At school events, the other parents whispered, Isn't that Malcolm Reed? The big real estate guy. But Malcolm just smiled politely and helped carry juice boxes. He wasn't that man anymore. He was Dad now. Faith's father. Hope's pickup guy. Titles that mattered far more than anything printed in a business journal. One spring afternoon, as they sat under a tree in the park, Hope curled up next to him and said, Do you think Mommy can see us? Malcolm looked up at the sky and nodded. I know she can, and I think she's proud. Faith leaned her head on his shoulder. We miss her, she whispered. Me too, Malcolm said. Every single day. But even in the missing, there was peace. Because love didn't end with goodbye. It lived on in the way Hope giggled with her whole face, in how Faith drew sunflowers just like her mother, and in Malcolm, who had arrived too late for the beginning, but in time to become everything they would ever need. Like and subscribe to my channel for more contents like this, and let us know where you are watching from under the comment section.